It's your boy Tay.
Allen Ansel.
And this is
Mogearz.
Mogearz, baby! Mogearz is about Trinidad and Tobago auto sports. And this, let me tell you something. We have everything down here.
This auto sports, motoring and your right?
Motoring.
Anything with an engine.
Anything with an engine. Anything with 4 wheels, 2 wheels, 1 wheel.
Or no wheels.
Except it's a bicycle. That's our next show, but we ain't doing that tonight.
I want engines with no wheels.
That's like my car. I thought we weren't going to talk about my car and sell. What we're going to talk about tonight, we have a lot of packed show for you. We're going to talk about power boating, no wheels, engine, and rail speed.
Yep.
Right? We're going to talk about rallying. We're going to talk about a huge show coming up later this month, V8 Boys Car Show, with a very special guest. But you know what? We can't tell you everything. So you're going to have to take a look. Don't scroll through. Don't watch the whole show.
Hi, I'm here with Stuart Johnson, the rally champion of 2016. Stuart, how was the championship last year?
Championship was a lot of fun. Stages were very good, technical, in particular Bronte. Enjoy that stage thoroughly. I guess it's more suited, my car is more suited to a stage like Bronte, you know. But a lot of fun, I must say. I had a good year.
I think you have a new Navi, right?
Yeah, I have a new co-driver racing with me this year. He has raced before. He has raced on his own, and he has raced with people in the past. So it should be interesting, you know. A phone call I made to him, I said, he answered the phone. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "How big are your balls feeling these days?" So he says,
yeah, that sounds like
so
it.
he's like, he he didn't know how to answer the question. So I said, I said, you want to know where I'm coming with this? Huh? He's like, I would love to know where you're coming with this. So I told him, I said, you know, I'm looking for a co-driver for Rally Trinidad. I know you have the experience. We've been friends for over 15 years, and he's like, you know what, let me just come and see how I feel in the car, sit in the car. And he actually came last night. He sat in the car and he's like, yep, I'm on board, you know. So
Yeah, all it takes is for the bug to bite him again.
Yeah. As I said before, I just things have changed with comparison to the speed in the days he was in it compared to the speed of the days we're in it now.
Well,
so
you're making it sound like he's really old, right?
well, he's not really old because he's my
his
age.
days are
He's my
days are-
age, so at the end of it all, if he's real old, I'm real old. So I can't say that really about him. But yeah, we I believe in the first few corners on the first stage he's gonna get a little confuffled, but I think he will straighten out and we'll end up being a serious team to be reckoned with, you know.
Right. You're recently married, huh?
Yes, I am recently married.
December, right?
Yes, indeed.
So how's that going in terms of your racing career and your wife supporting you and so on?
My wife supports me 100%. At the end of the day, it's one of the big rally photographers. He did some shots for us before we actually went and got like engagement shots. And she was telling him, you know, she was actually telling me, why don't you bring the car and let's take pics around the car and that type of stuff. So she's very into it. She knows it's my passion. She supports me 110% or 112.5%. Yeah. And I really can't complain with the support I get from her. I know different people sometimes get, you know, that their wives aren't too keen on it because of the danger aspect of it. Yes, it does concern her, the danger aspect, but she knows it's my passion and she's behind me all the way, you know.
Rally Trinidad is coming up, and you sit there 10 seconds before the clock goes to 0, and you have in your mind you're the champion for last year, so your competitors is on your heels, obviously, because they won this championship this year, right? What will be the mindset like?
Well, to be honest with you, what I have realized in rally is, even when you're sitting and you're leading a rally, and for instance, the last rally the year last year, we won the championship in the last rally. So when you're sitting there and you're wondering, Is she going to hold out? Are we going to have any mechanical issues? Am I going to make a foolish mistake? Am I going to make, do something that I shouldn't do, or something of these sorts? Personally, for me, from the time I see that clock reach 30 seconds, my focus is, I think about nothing of the sort. Yeah. My focus is what's ahead of me and how my attack will be. How we have done it every year in a rally is I do not go out to end it on the first stage. I go out with some sort of reservation and get a feel of the car. And when we come in, we'll make a suspension adjustment or a tire pressure adjustment. And then we'll go back out, we'll feel it, come back in, make another little adjustment if it's required. If it's not required, leave it there, Ansel, people, I have come back in the pit already and told my crew, take half a PSI out of my back tires. And a guy looks at me, he was a outsider, a spectator. He's like, half a PSI? You will never be able to determine the difference. I go out there, I said, no problem if you say so. I go out there and I beat the time I did before by 8 seconds.
Imagine that. Half a PSI.
Half a PSI. It's a huge difference. People don't realize, what tire pressures do, little suspension tweaks do to get you up there to run.
This was a very good tip from Stuart about the tire pressure. I have also a tip for you for the motorcycle racers. For the race truck, this is one of the most important part in racing anyway, to find the right braking point to reduce your speed in front of a corner. If you like to join me in the motorcycle racing school at Wallerfield, come at 8 o'clock in the morning by the 15th of April. So stay tuned with mogearz. We will be right back.
Hi guys, Dominic De Leon here. I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm the owner of the At1 racing team. The championship we take part in is the Australasian Superbikes, also known as the ASC. Our riders are Lucas Vitale, Damian Sutton, Ryan Sillin and myself, all on Kawasaki's. We have some new and interesting things in store for the racing scene here in Australia this year, so like and follow us on Facebook at At1 Racing. See you trackside.
And we at mogearz is coming straight at you from Scotchies on the stretch. That's right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're here at this great match taking place at the Motormania Wings and Wheels event right here in the Right York Stadium. And of course, it's Dario Jordan on the right lane against Raul Yates in that beautiful evolution on the left lane. Raul seems to be getting the better of Dario at the moment. Both avid competitors in this event, ladies and gentlemen. As Raul heads down to the 360, so does Dario Jordan coming in for the first time, heading back up the straight. Dario is getting a little challenge coming up there. It's not being able to manage the pace of the evolution, but Dario is very good in the winding part of this competition. So let's see if he gets into the 360 first. He's known as the 360 boss, but Raul Yates looks like he's getting the better of Dario. He comes into the 360 first. Dario trying his best to control down on the other side. Raul Yates getting the better of Dario Jordan on this one.
Hi, Raul Yates here from sunny Tobago, driver of the Blue Lancer Evolution, and I'm here to give you advice on how to have a faster car in drag and wind competition, especially for you new guys out there. Now, you don't necessarily need a faster car, but you do need a car that's in proper working order and have good tires. Good tires go a long way in making you faster on the track, but the best way to become faster is you, the driver. A lot of times, guys get excited and make a lot of mistakes because they tend to drive against the guy next to them, and this is not how drag and wind works. Drag and wind is about yourself and the time. Take your time, learn the course, and practice. Over time, you'll find that you'll go faster and faster without even doing a single thing to your car.
We're here with Marsden of Marztech Racing, one of the leading drift guys in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, good afternoon.
So, man, welcome to the show, man.
Yes, a pleasure being here to speak with you all. Yes.
You know, there's this idea that once you can do some donuts and a little handbrakes turn, you're a drifter.
Well, yeah.
Disabuse the Trinidad and Tobago view in public about what is this drifting about? What is the state of drift in Trinidad and Tobago?
In Trinidad. Well, drifting is a growing sport that's growing very fast around the world, right? It's picking up a lot of growth all over the world. A lot of sponsors, big names are tapping into it now. They actually reach the point where there are actually parts designed for drifting for vehicles before you use the basic parts for all the other motorsports. So now it's a full market, right? In Trinidad, we're in a good position, I should say, right now, where we have a lot of interested parties, a lot of groups, a lot of persons that into the sport. Sometimes it may have some misconceptions, as you say, with, you know, just a donut, a handbrake. You may find it on the streets, right? And that's where you don't want this to end up at all. You want this to remain in a closed course or on the racetrack, right? For instance, Wallerfield. And drifting is a sport about discipline, being disciplined enough, as I say, to keep it on a safe ground, being calm. The more calm you are, you're able to execute your moves better, right? And, you know, some people may view the sport as something very wild and, you know, it's something that, you know, you're kind of like wilding out, right? But no, it's a true art form that it takes a while to develop the skill fully, right? But anyone can learn, any age, male, female, can learn this sport. And it's very precise maneuvers. I should say it's more like precision driving there.
In Formula One, MotoGP, you know who's the winner?
Yeah.
The person who crossed the line first, unless you had some penalties,
yeah,
you win the race.
All right.
Drifting, not so much straightforward. How do you win a drift race?
Well, for drifting, I should say, if we go to the stage of tandem, two drivers going head to head on the set course, I should say, you have two runs basically. You have a lead run with the other driver following, and then they switch places, right? It's not a one round each say win. It's they're actually judged on both runs, right? So on the set course that they're going to drift, you actually have clipping points and zones that you need to.
What is that?
Well, the clipping point will be, it may be to the front, like for instance on an apex, or maybe to the outside on the rear, which is a rear clipping point. And there's also something about these zones where you either need to get the front very close or the rear very close proximity to it. And that will determine that you maintain something called the line. That's where the judges will decide what's the best line, the best attack then for the course, right? So once you maintain the line and you hit your clipping points, all that you'll find will determine that you maintain good speed throughout the course also. They will consider that a good run and you'll be judged based on that. Yeah.
Give me an idea of the top end of the competition. We've been drifting a whole while in Trinidad and Tobago. What about like a national championship? Where we at with things like that?
Well, I would say there's the other association,
right.
The TTPBA. They held their championship last year, and I believe the guy that came out, the victor, was Jerome Emmanuel, right? So they have him as their championship due to, I'm not too sure but how it went, but it's like a points thing with, you know.
So there's a bit of a fraction of.
Well, what I would say
drifting.
currently, we don't have a true format and platform for competition-wise, right? And I personally I wouldn't push the competition too much as yet on the drivers. What I think needs to happen is that we need drivers to more bond, right? Because due to sometimes in other sports we see in the country, once you reach into competition, you find it kind of breeds enemies, right?
Right.
So I think we need to have more of a brotherhood now. We need to drift and practice more with each other to get to mesh, right? And show that betterness. And from there now, we will learn how to compete properly. So you'll know how to win. You'll understand when you lose what will happen and how to come better next time. And I think when we see that we fully reach in a nice zone, then I think then we should force the competition on the drivers. But at this moment, I think we should just have fun.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for
Yeah.
a wonderful interview. And remember, if you have any information you want, just keep looking at the tickers right throughout the shows. And you
Check them
can,
out on Facebook.
yeah, and look at the show
Marztech
notes. Yeah, Marztech. And thanks a lot. And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
TriniTuner.com, Trinidad and Tobago's largest automotive website.
We're calling it Recession Buster Advertising. Contact our marketing team if you're interested in targeting people who are involved in or interested in motorsports. Trinidad 868-465-0655 for more information. Packages from as low as $300 TT for a 30-second advertisement.
Good day, everybody. You're watching mogearz. I'm William from the Ford Car Club, and one of the reasons why you should join the Ford Car Club is to restore back your old Ford vehicle, just like this one in back of me right here. We also have a lot of fun in this club. It's family-based, and we go right through Trinidad and Tobago doing all sorts of things, especially in motorsports. So join us on Facebook at FCCTT Ford Car Club, Trinidad and Tobago. Check us out.
My name is Mohamed Ali. I've raced Rotaries all my life. I've had 43 years of motorsport experience. If you want to race a car, the cheapest and the best thing to drive is a rotary engine car. There is so much that you can do with a standard engine, and all you need to do is all the local parts are available to do whatever you want. You can do fine tweaks on the engine with air filters, spark plugs, ignition timing, exhaust, standard gearboxes, standard gear ratios, and make a lot of horsepower. The important thing with these cars, you cannot come off the accelerator. You must change from the driver's seat to live in the gearbox. Once you can do that, you can make horsepower and you can win races and be very competitive. You can use all the standard Mazda parts available and build any engine that you want. You can build a race engine, a bridge engine, a peripheral port engine, and deliver as much as 300 horsepower on an engine. Whether it is carburation or injection, you can do whatever you want. If you want to go into turbocharge, it then puts you into another class. This makes it very difficult for the Rotary to survive because your type of modification will be limited. So the best advice is drive a Rotary, you make cheap horsepower, but you run and you run well, and it is an engine that is proven to be not an economy engine, it's a high performance engine, and it can live very long. I have proven it in drag racing, in circuit racing, and in rally. So there's nothing that you can say, think, or do about a rotary engine that has not been proven.
And we're here today with Roger Bell. Roger is a former navigator of one of the most exciting boats you'll ever see in your life. But right now, Roger, I think your current day job, if you want to call it that, is an executive member of the Powerboat Association, Trinidad and Tobago Powerboating Association. Tell me about that change and tell me about what is your new mandate is all about.
Well, just to correct you a little bit, it's more like a night job, as I do have a day job that I'm responsible for. But yeah, the TTPBA Exco, we see about everything. Where we all have jobs, so it's for the love of the sport, and we have to do what we do in our spare time, which is get race schedules going. Safety takes up a tremendous amount of work. Setting out race courts, having meetings, ensuring that rules and so on are followed. It's a lot more, but too long to get into.
Right now, of course, the major event for the year is the the Tobago Great Race. All right. So that event takes up, I would imagine, most of your time to plan and to execute. But what about for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the Great Race does take up a lot of time. Tremendous amount of planning again, in particularly where safety is concerned, because that's the front of what we want to do. We want to make sure we put on safe racing. However, leading up to the Great Race, we have the National Championship season. And essentially what that is 5 regattas that start in January. We just did our second one last week in March. We have April, May, and July to go. And then there's about a 7 to 8 week break until the Great Race. The National Championship is points being acquired throughout the season in racing. And at the end of the championship season, we have class champions in the 130 mile per hour, the 95, 80, 70, and 60 mile classes. And so we recognize these race teams first, second, and third place throughout these groups.
Of course, the boat we mentioned before, Vortex, huge beast, big 50-foot catamaran. It's probably the cutting edge of power boating technology in the world, not just in Trinidad, but there are a lot of other people involved in boating. I know you mentioned the different speed categories, but give me an example of what the lowest speed category would involve and the top end speed category will involve.
Well, we start off in the G-class 60 mile per hour category. And what's great about that class, that is highly competitive, by the way, is that the boats that are used in the 60 mile per hour G-class, and as a matter of fact, in the 70 mile per hour F-class, is that these boats, you can use them for recreational purposes, or what people traditionally like to refer to as down the islands boats. I mean, some of these guys tune their engines, maybe get some racing props, lighten up the boat for race day and so on. But they can leave a regatta and go straight down the islands with, 10 or 12 people on their boat if they so desire. We start moving up into the 80 mile per hour class. And right now, the majority of the boats, not all, but the majority are now starting to have canopies because you're starting to getting into, higher racing and so on. This is turning out to be one of our most competitive classes this year. We have a battle going on right now between Outlaw and Heatwave, where Outlaw is on top, and Papichulio, another boat, a catamaran, is in the hunt too. And the exciting thing about this is we are anticipating a couple more boats to come into this category in the next regatta. We jump up to the 95 mile per hour class, and you have boats like Sheriff Lobo and Chris Gorden-Toyler, again canopy boats. You're just under the 100 mile threshold, very fast accelerating boats, and they provide a lot of excitement.
And then you get into where the air is rare.
150 mile per hour boats, Vortex, Iron Man, Mr. Solo, Paramount, last year's Great Race winner, former boats like Monster, and all these boats have competed outside internationally and have done extremely well. So for these boats to be competed in the tiny island of Trinidad and Tobago, we are just thoroughly excited. And our TTPBA gets so much recognition outside. As a matter of fact, my opinion is that we are followed more internationally than at home here in Trinidad and Tobago.
You're here with Roger Bell, and this is mogearz. We'll be right back.
TriniTuner.com, Trinidad and Tobago's largest automotive website.
Good day, folks. Do you need a good used car? Well, come check us down here in McBean in Couva by Sting Used Cars. Sting Used Cars. We got all different types of cars. 5,000, 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 60,000, you choose it.
Performance tip, make sure and check your alignment and camber as per what course you're running. It improves handling of the vehicle and so on in motor racing. Check out Big car show coming up, Mountain. Clifford Tardieu, Viet Boys Show in San Fernando.
So we're right back here, and you are watching mogearz, of course, and it's your boy T still in the building. But guess what? We have a special guest here, Clifford Tardieu, the man behind the biggest car show in Trinidad and Tobago by far, V8 Boys, which is coming up last Sunday of this month, April, down at Skinner Park. And I want to welcome you to the show, Clifford. How are you going? One of the few people who will be taller than me on this show, but we're sitting down. So, Clifford.
Yep.
This car show, it's pretty special this year.
Yeah.
Tell us about your special guest.
Well, as I've been telling people on social media, and even friends and family, I say it's not just a car show. Because over the years, people would call me and say, I hear you're having a car show. So this year, I'm saying it's not just a car show, it is the show. Simply because of the fact that the show is now going foreign. It's going international. How we managed to do this is that over the years, we've been doing this since 2009, but on a small scale. And for the past 3 years, I've been talking to Dennis Gage through emails and asking...
Wait. Who?
Dennis Gage.
Tell these people who Dennis is.
Dennis Gage is the host of a TV program called My Classic Car. It's a TV program that is seen across the world on 4 different cable networks. MAV TV, Velocity TV, Reven Networks, and Fox Sports.
This guy is
and Fox Sports.
Car royalty.
100 million people see this program. 100 million people. So when we talk about this show in terms of a car show, it's more than just that. We're going to present Trinidad and Tobago, not just for the old cars, because Dennis will be here not just for the show, but for 6 days before and after the show. So we're taking him around to Trinidad, show him the culture of Trinidad, show him the relationship between the old school cars, or the history of the cars and the history of our country. How is that? Every stone, every brick, every piece of plywood was moved by an old school car. So that's how our history of Trinidad and Tobago is tied up with old cars. So that without the old school, there is no new school.
Right.
So that's why this is so special, because we're taking Dennis and taking him to eat Shark and Bacon Maracas. We're taking him to Doubles in Pinal. We're taking him up to Manzanilla on the stretch. We're taking him to St. James to see what St. James is like. We're going to do a little mini show in Independence Square, up on the hill in San Fernando, up on City Hall in San Fernando, Grand Bazaar. We're going to hit the road. We're going to have a little blocko in front of the Magnificent Seven, the buildings that are restored, and take those antique cars and put them in front of the Magnificent Seven and take some back-in-time shots. So that's our photo opportunity to make Trinidad go back in time. So when you look at TTRC building, that was, I think, was made in 1904, 1907. You imagine getting a car from the 20s in front of that, or maybe the Gingerbread House, or maybe the Knowles building, or maybe Stallmeyer's Castle that should be finished restoring, So that's what we're looking at, showing the relationship between today and yesterday, and that's where Dennis Gage comes in. His program is about cherishing the old school. His tagline is, cherish the timeless classics, or honor the timeless classics. So in that case, we're trying to help the youngsters today to take a look back at what things were like when you were younger, when our parents were younger, when I was younger.
Many Flintstone cars.
So we want young people to go back in time a bit and not just look at old cars, but understand the culture behind an old car. When I say the culture behind an old car, I don't just talk about painting a car in Pomobel. I don't just talk about doing old school rims. You see,
white walls,
white writing tires. In those days, guys, grandfather, uncle, daddy, they used to make parts of their cars because money wasn't easy to come by in the 70s and 80s and the 60s. So they had to make a part. You didn't just take off the carburetor and go to the store and buy a new one. You took that carburetor apart and you took a file and you surfaced the two, and you put them together with new gaskets and new jets, and then you tuned it, That was what the old school meant to our forefathers. When you were getting in the car, don't put your foot on the seat. You know, that don't put your foot on the center there, you know. Dust your foot before you come in the car. You know,
Yeah,
I still have older folks that come into my car, and the minute they come in my car, they're taking my mat and dusting it outside. That was the culture we grew up with. Nowadays, everything is throwaway. When I see anybody fix a shoe, when I see anybody think, yeah, well,
present company accepted.
So nobody fixes stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And the cars today are made in that in mind. You don't longer change a ball joint, you change the whole cradle.
One final question for you. How hot you think Dennis could handle the pepper in the double?
Boy, I was thinking about that one. Because I initially was thinking that when he comes out of the airplane, I'm going to take him a Rima by the dial, and I might stop by We're not going to eat doubles.
Okay.
We're taking him. We're going to take him a Rima doubles. We take him by the dial and come down the main road, stop off at Exodus Panyard, show him some pan, stop off in Crepe, look at sauce doubles, and then maybe after the show introduce him to pepper.
Yeah,
we don't
want to freeze about one time.
Yeah, we don't want to hijack the show. Yeah.
Next thing you know, Dennis never leave the hotel. Anyhow, that was Clifford Tardieu, and y'all could check that show out. It's coming up at the end of the month down at Skinner Park. Check it out. We'll have some links in the show notes. You gotta see this show.
We're calling it Recession Buster Advertising. Contact our marketing team if you're interested in targeting people who are involved in or interested in motorsports. Trinidad 868-465-0655 for more information. Packages from as low as $300 TT for a 30-second advertisement.
TriniTuner.com, Trinidad and Tobago's largest automotive website.
Hi there, we're back here in mogearz with Mr. Robert Cadiz of the TTRC. Robert, you all have an international event coming up in the first weekend in April.
Yeah, of course. Good night, guys. Ansel and mogearz, always good to be on with you guys. Rally Trinidad is the biggest event we've got on our calendar. April 6th, 7th, and 8th of April. Actually, we start on the 5th promoting the event down at One Woodbrook Place. More details to follow with that, where we're going to be doing the rally briefing and just a general getting the public involved, giving out a lot of the info, a nice social event. The Friday, my mistake, it was actually the 7th of April. Friday, the 7th of April, we'll be up in Carney, the old Motorsport location, familiar like what we did last year.
Scotches.
Launching now Scotches, yeah. And the Saturday and Sunday, obviously, we do 2 days of gravel back-to-back rallying. A little bit of a smaller field this year, of course. I think, everybody's feeling a little bit of the pinch of resources this year. Nothing to take away from what we have to show. I mean, we've got a very capable top line of four-wheel drivers, as well as a very competitive two-wheel, of course. Stuart Johnson, James Betts, Ryan Pinheiro, I think those would be some of the front runners. Of course, Craig Sumir, Harold Morley, Matthew Russell. I can't call all the guys off the top of my head, but those would be some of the bigger names. Two-wheel drive, we got some big names as well. So, we're looking forward to a very competitive event. I think from the executive side, we're going to be shaping the rally around encouraging the cars to kind of stay in the rally as long as they can, so that the spectators throughout the weekend, going to be looking forward to as many cars as we can give them. All in all, I think the Rally Club is going to pull it off one way or another,
Rallying has always been a mainstay of Trinidad and Tobago auto sport. And, Rally Club has been driving, and this event here has been huge. So the fan appreciation event on the Avenue, you're going to be doing that again this year?
We are actually doing it at One Woodbrook Place this year.
Right,
we're just trying to fit a couple of the logistics in with getting a couple cars down. We're looking like the newly the residence, which is on the outside of One Woodbrook, close to the St. James Main Road. just for a little bit more visibility. The idea is, have an event like that, bring the social aspect back, make sure people could get up close, not on a competitive day, where, kids, whoever, have a seat in the cars, take a couple, media shots and stuff like that. More just an event combining the competitive side and our fan base. And we have had some really good years of Rally Trinidad in the past, and it's just to work back to that point. I think every rally right now in the world is, trying to plan their next move, with some ever-changing rules. And, of course, WRC right now has a brand new car out for 2017. So, it'll be a few years before this side of the world catches up in what you will see, on the ground in Trinidad. But, Barbados, they still run some of the older world cars that we hope to have back here next year. And, getting that where we've been at 35 cars in our international event previously, unfortunately, we're probably half that this year. And we're working, in getting some of our competitors back. Again, I don't see it as a bad thing. It's a time to rebuild, innovate, come with something a little different. And, at the end of the day, still deliver a quality product to the fan base.
Is it that the downturn in the economy is
for sure. Just something as simple as access to foreign currency, for example. You're talking guys having to purchase tires, fuel, performance parts, not having the US to do so, trying to negotiate sponsorship deals in a tough time where all companies are really struggling. Freight companies, local sponsors, everybody is looking at their finances this year. And unfortunately, one of the things that's always up for discussion or negotiation is what do we throw into sponsorship.
So for the Rally Trinidad,
yep.
Give me some newcomer tips.
Yeah.
What to look for?
Something Rally Trinidad 10 years ago with no Google, no WhatsApp, no Waze, and no, modern technology and social media, I think has revolutionized our ability for spectators, newcomers, to just look up on the morning, get a WhatsApp location from a buddy in the cane field. It's free. There's no entry fee to come on Saturday and Sunday. You walk with a cooler, walk with your family, and finding the rally locations. We will be doing the south stages on the Saturday, which will be Bronte, and really hoping that Cedar Hill pulls through for us. And then on Sunday, we're looking at the central stages, which will be Couva, the Jack and Jill stage, which is a very popular spectator stage, and the Snake stage on the other side of the highway. Jack and Jill, of course, is Milton Road area. And we were going to be putting up these locations on Facebook and social media. So the GPS locations and everything, it's going to be so easy for a newcomer to find it. Sunscreen, change the jersey maybe with the dust. And
spot up out.
Yeah, food, drinks.
Vegetarian.
Bring your food. Of course, Stagger Man's Bay, walk with as much as you can. And I think spectating rally for someone who hasn't done it is something truly spectacular. I think all of us can remember the first rally we went to and could not believe it's taking place right in our backyard. For the most seasoned spectators, I think having a good time is more their vibe. And there's always going to be one or two popular corners of music and liming. And, what is a Trinidadian sporting event without a bad lime somewhere? And I think we have always delivered on a quality product.
Great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. That's, what's the dates?
The April 7th, 8th, and 9th. And of course, we kick off on the 5th at One Woodbrook Place. You can look out for all the details on our Facebook page. And yeah, we're hoping for, the more the merrier.
It's happening somewhere in the bush. But right now, we down at Scotty's on the stretch here in Carney. All right, so that was this month's mogearz. Remember, it's mogearz with a Z. Z or a Z. We're from Trinidad. Still had that British colonial background. So a Z. mogearz with a Z. It's everywhere on the internet. Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. If you need to get in touch with us, you have some footage from your event, mogearz at gmail.com. That's right. You know what I mean? But of course, if you like the show, hit subscribe, love it, click like, share it everywhere you see it, talk to people about it, tell everybody about it, because you know what? This is how we build this thing. All right? So don't forget, mogearz with a Z.
Peace.